Surrey OARH Network. This is our first education and outreach event, an inclusive and diverse Surrey Forum, a collaborative approach to combating discrimination. We're also using this event to celebrate the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination.
I'm sure everyone here is quite aware of different issues along the ways, and what a powerful thing for a collective to come together to say, no, we want positivity, we want inclusivity, we want us to grow together and nurture this beautiful land that we are all living on, the unceded territory of the Coast Salish people, with the Katzie and the Stalo, and in the Vancouver area we have the 3 host nations, and then by the waters you have the Tsawwassen. I think it's a wonderful thing when we think about discrimination, because not too long ago, maybe even 200 years ago, there would have been longhouses in this area, and to think about what life would have been like, and how we're working at this new era of reconciliation, of instead of letting the media decide the labels of what we think of one another, to take off those masks and just truly see each other, and to say, you're beautiful, you're amazing, I accept you for who you are.
Other people say that the world needs more Canada. And when you dig into that a little bit and you say to them, well, why does the world need more Canada? You say to people from other countries who have said that to you. And they say, well, you know, you guys are very good at working together. And actually, I think that's true. I mean, one of the things that I've learned about living and working here in this country is that it's a bit like working in the United Nations. You have to be thoughtful, you have to be careful about the way in which you deal and interact with your fellow citizens. You have to be, above all, inclusive. And these are all things that Canada expresses, and which I found, interestingly, the United Nations also expresses. So I think that Mosaic is probably an organization, at least here in BC, which encapsulates all those values. We are here today supporting OARH, an initiative funded by the government of British Columbia. As the name implies, it's a goal to bring together all members of society, leaders, stakeholders, businesses, all members of the community, to respond to incidents of racism and hatred here in Surrey. The project and today's event are completely in line with Mosaic's vision to empower newcomers to Canada to fully participate in our Canadian society.
We should never be complacent. You will never feel that there's no more racism, that we have achieved that goal. Because it is going, look into the history of the world. If we are to learn something, it is always there in some shape, some form. Humankind have found a way to divide each other for whatever reasons, to benefit whoever. People of same religion find reasons to discriminate each other on the same religion principles that both of them are worshiping their God and how they worship their God. People of same religion, same color, same country find reasons based on regionalities, what area you come from. Caste system in India, the religions is the same and colors are same, we are almost of the same shape, speak same language. We find reason to discriminate each other based on castes. What is caste? It's just what we do. It's the work that we do. We find that somehow somebody is less than I am because the type of occupation they're involved in. Although we all are working to support each other.
We cannot make it safe for those conversations and for those words to live. We cannot. So when somebody of your color says that, it is first your responsibility to say something about it before someone else does. If you're not, you are part of that. So if someone of your color, your background, your race, your religion, your way of life says something hatred, something hateful, something vengeful, something wrong, something discriminatory, something racist, speak up. Because your job comes first before mine, before the person that they're attacking. That's the only way. That's the only way we're going to make it unsafe for those voices to be heard.
One of the things that I've discovered in working with the 14 odd neighborhood houses in the Lower Mainland, and working among, I see so many familiar faces around here, working with people in the settlement community, people in the library, people in Fraser Health, etc. We're all concerned with this idea of building healthy, inclusive communities. I think community development, community engagement is a really high calling, because without that kind of civic participation, social inclusion, and social integration, society is just not healthy. It doesn't work. Civic participation is necessary for a healthy community. Healthy communities are necessary, I don't think I'm overstating it, healthy communities are necessary for civilization itself. And so the work we're doing together is, I think, work that is making it possible for us to even function as a society. And I'm very proud to be part of a neighborhood house movement that's helping to make that possible.
Dad, guess what? I'm pregnant. And she looked at me and she said, Jonquil, do you have any, first of all, she actually said, are you going to have an abortion? And I said, what? She said, do you have any idea how difficult it is to raise a child of mixed heritage in this world? Because my child's father was West Indian. And I said, no, it had never remotely crossed my mind. It wasn't part of my world. It wasn't part of how we thought. It wasn't what we were taught at home or in our faith communities. It just was not part of my world. And I obviously had been privileged and blessed.
I grew up in a world full of elders and teachers and singers who were able to groom me to who I am today. But still there was a lot of discrimination. There's a lot of the taxi driver totally throws me off too. You know, being told like, oh, who are you? You're Mexican, Hawaiian, Chinese, everything in the book but First Nations. And then I'd say I'm Native, and they're like, but you're too beautiful to be Native. And then you get all these different scenarios, and then there's all of this misconception of, oh, you're Native, you get everything for free. Well, I've paid for all of my own school, and I've paid for, because it didn't fit into the box. You could either be a business person, a school teacher, or a social worker. Then you get your school paid for, but if you don't fit in that box, you don't get your school paid for. And I don't fit in the box.
I thought it's normal to face racism because this is what I have gone through all my life. And then people speaking, I came with English as a second language and arts, a degree in it. But then people were still the same way as our keynote speaker spoke about, were speaking really slow to me. And then when I would tell them, I would speak back, and then they would tell me, but you told us that you've been here only 2 months. You learned the language really fast. So the assumption was there. And then for me, my background was teaching English to elementary school teachers back in my home country, and then translation and interpretation on the side. So everybody discouraged me from pursuing my English teaching. Then I thought translation is the other norm. And for me, I learned how to use computers, but then when I went to a place trying to apply for a job, they told me, can you type these 2 pages for us in your language? And I did. And then the person was telling me, no, but you don't understand. We use Mac computers, Apple computers. And I actually had a better system back home before coming here. And then the whole assumptions that you come here as a refugee, as a newcomer, then these are some of the things that you would actually not know because you come as a refugee. And then all of a sudden, September 11 attacks happen. Being Muslim, refugee, young from the Middle East, then you put the whole profile of a person that would actually be subject to racism. I started doing translation for several companies, and a couple of them were in New York, in the States. And I remember receiving a phone call, not in 1972 or 82, but in 2003. I received a call from the bank asking me to go there, and I thought, oh goodness, one of my checks maybe bounced back. They didn't honor there. I go there, and the first question I was asked, could you please tell us if you were a citizen of another country? Where were you born? And I thought, oh goodness, in Canada, a national bank asking me where I was born? I thought that I was really, all of a sudden, you guys have to know racism hurts. It does. And I thought, what can I said, well, I think based on my understanding, I could not answer this question. It doesn't have anything to do with my transactions with the bank. Have I had any problems? No. Do I think I have many products with you guys? I have more than 20,000. I'm building with my credit history. But I was born in Iraq. They said, well, then we have to close your US bank account because you were born in Iraq.
Unraveling Islam, and we have gone to RCMP forums. We have educated them about the basic teachings of Islam, which is so similar to the teachings of Jesus Christ, Christianity, and Moses, Judaism. Is very, very similar. And Sikhism is also a nice combination of all those religions into one. So if people could only understand that, the understanding brings tolerance, and with that kind of understanding comes compassion. And to me, having compassion towards each other brings different kind of peace within you.
Our unit is very unique, and a lot of police agencies don't have, is we go out and we interact with the community in a positive manner. So from the diversity side, with Mosaic and all the other settlement agencies, we go out and we do presentations introducing newcomers to police in Canada and how we can help and how the different role of policing functions in Canada. From the community engagement side, on weekends or nights or wherever, for community events, we go out and we also interact with the public. We show that the police are not this anatomic robot that most people are used to. We're approachable. You can come and talk to us. You can ask us questions. You can have concerns. We do events like Coffee with Cops, bubble tea we've done, chai tea. So we go out to different communities, and we just interact with the public so that they can approach us, ask us all any kind of questions that they want to, and we'll be able to respond and assist. And again, for you guys, if you have presentations or anything or community events that you're doing, please reach out to myself, and if we're available, we'll be more than happy to come and join you.
I'm out here connecting with the community, and it's to find ways to assist you and the community. I do go to schools, like the post-secondary institutions, talk about what police do. I engage with new immigrants. It's been really fun lately. I've been going to one down in Newton. They seem to invite me every week. It's awesome. But it's about fostering relations. It's about building communities. It's about consistency of an officer for you.
Thank you.